What's up, everybody? CHM Carnivorous here, and I hope you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Now, I'm going to highlight two plants today. I was going to highlight just one, but these are two plants that are so closely related. I thought it would be a BOGO, if you will, and I would highlight both of them. I'm going to talk about what they are, what their growing conditions are, and why I think everybody should own them. They are super easy to grow, will give you absolutely gorgeous pictures, and the pictures will get enormous. And here's the best part, they will grow in your home. So stay tuned, stick around, and we're going to talk about these amazing plants. See you in a minute. All right, everybody, like I talked about in the introduction, we're going to talk about two plants that are very, very closely related, and what they are, where you can get them, why I feel they are the best to have in your collection, and the cool part is that they will grow in the comfort of your home, and they are extremely easy to grow, and last and not least, they will get big, beautiful, show-stopping pictures that'll surely be a hit. And so the first one I'm going to talk about, if you are one that watches my channel a lot, if you are, thank you very much, I appreciate that. This one will be no stranger to you, however, it's going to look a little different than what you're used to. So this is the Alotta by Caesar. This is the one that the growth tip broke off on, and as you can see, it has made a full recovery and it is starting to grow. Now, if you'll remember, the growth tip broke on that plant, or in this plant rather, probably less than, I'd say, a month and a half ago. And as you can see, it's already got three growing nodes, two that are fully grown and producing leaves. So this is a very, very vigorous plant. Now, this is an older picture that is dying out on it, but you can see it still holds quite a lot of beauty even at this age. This is a very, very, very small picture for this plant. Now, I've talked about this plant before, and why I feel like this is the most important, or one of the best plants rather, to have for your collection is for a number of reasons. One is extremely, extremely, extremely easy to grow. Now, there are a lot of easy grows out there like the Ventradas or the Mirandas, which are equally beautiful, but this one in particular is really cool because it gets very, very large. Caesar is merliana by Truncata, which produces absolutely enormous pictures, and Alotta it has that little added, not only does it give you the body shape and the flare of the bottom, but it's going to give you enormous pictures and very, very easy to grow pictures. This plant in particular, the other ones that I've seen from the grower have been very bushy, so it's going to provide you a lot of growth points. This one in particular now has 3 growth points on it, and so I'm very excited about that. It will grow very, very comfortably in your home's conditions. Now, there are a couple things the way to grow this. It's extremely easy, and I'm going to talk you through that now. First and foremost, you want to have a media of sphagnum moss and perlite. Now, I try to do a 50-50 between the two, and that gives it enough aerations. I also like to keep it in a pot like that. That is certainly not necessary for a plant like this that is so easy to grow. Some plants that are more prone to root rot, this is a big plus, but I like to put them in here anyways. It gives them a room to grow, plenty of aeration, help them spread their legs and take off. So easy plant. The media is going to be sphagnum moss, perlite, 50-50 mix. Now, if you do get a cutting, you want to make sure, if you can see right here, I gave plenty of room on that node, and that is what you want to do specifically for a cutting. Now, if you're going to do a seeded plant, you want to provide plenty of room around the base. These plants, just like any other Nepenthes, are going to be very, very angry, if you will, ornery, if you're starting to get a lot of moisture buildup around their base. And so with a cutting, what you do is you have the opportunity to provide a nice high dry growth point. Now, it is growing in my growth tent right now, but it doesn't necessarily need that. This one in particular doesn't need that at all. This will do just fine in a windowsill. If it gets 60% shade, it will, or 60% sun, 40% shade, it will do just fine, and it will produce a lot of big pictures. Now, what's really cool about this, the Alotta provides not only this bulbous base right here that you'll see, so Alotta will get almost that wine glass shape, if you will, or hourglass shape, if you will, but the peristome will get that nice tall arch. I don't know if you've seen the Alotta, I believe it's B or Alotta D, but it has this very, very tall arched peristome, and that is what you're going to get with this variety, except the difference is instead of Alotta B being about 6 inches, maybe 8 inches full grown, this thing will get about 1.5 feet tall. So that's how you grow this one. As far as watering needs, just keep the media nice and moist, not soaked. it really doesn't have a lot of requirements. There's nothing specific here that you need to do that's any different than you would treat any other of your Nepenthes. Now, let's talk about one that's very similar and why that's important in your collection. The next up is this one. I have this grossly overpotted. Now, normally you wouldn't want to do that with Nepenthes because they tend to, well, it's just not necessary. They're epiphytic in a lot of ways, and so they don't need it. But this one will turn into a monster, and so I want to go ahead and give it plenty of room. This is Alotta by Truncata. So it is missing the merliana parent in it, so in it itself won't necessarily be as big, but it will get nearly the same size. It will get probably a little over 14 inches in height, fully grown. And as you can see, the coloration is very similar to the one I showed you, but it does have substantially more markings. Very easy grower as well. In this one I have, this is just a pot that I got from Lowe's. I did a 50-50 sphagnum perlite mix. I keep this nice and moist. It does grow in my grow house. However, it does not necessarily need that, or in this case, just like the one I just showed you, won't need that at all. It can grow very comfortably in your home. Now, if you do get this as a cutting, I didn't have to do that because I am in a grow tent, but you may want to go ahead and bag acclimate it. It's not necessary for this plant, but just something you want to do, take a little extra precaution. You can do that. You won't need to do it very long, and you certainly don't need to keep the bag closed. It won't need that kind of 100% humidity condition. Now, what's really cool about this plant, it has very much the same temperament as the Alotta by Caesar. The merliana and the Caesar just provides the size. It really doesn't bring a lot of its traits in on these hybrids. It has a lot of the same traits. It will produce a bushy-like type of plant. If you know anything about the Alottas, specifically the Alotta Bs or the Alotta Ds, I can't remember, forgive me on that, it will get a lot of different growth points, and it will grow very, very fast, very, very vigorously. And as you can see, this is another cutting, and I've allowed plenty of space here. Now, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the growing conditions with this because I'd just be repeating myself, because it is very similar, actually identical to the one I just showed you. But what I will talk about is where you can get these beauties. Now, both of these, again, will get enormous, so make sure that you have plenty of space. It will take some time for that to happen, but it is a showstopper and something to talk about in your home. Now, where I got both of these plants is Todd's Tropicals. And I will tell you that he is a great source. You can buy these plants smaller and the seedling size. They are hard to find, I will tell you that, and they will cost you not a ton of money, but it's a lot of money for the seedling. You can get a cutting from him. I don't know if he's got any more of this, but I certainly know he had a bunch of the Alotta Caesar. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, what you need, if there's any particular questions. As far as feeding them goes, Osmocote pellets right into the pitchers will do just fine. They will handle it, just one Osmocote per pitcher. 2 if you get extremely large pitchers, and you'll be just fine. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. See you soon.